The fancy ones, sometimes the fancy ones are too fancy for me. Too fancy. All right, let's get this thing started. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the DNVR Nuggets Podcast. Let's go! Guys, hangovers never felt so good. Day after pod, I'm excited to talk a little bit more Nuggets. I didn't get enough of it last night. I didn't get enough of it this morning, in the wee hours of the morning. I didn't get enough of it over lunchtime or in the early afternoon. I'm ready for more Nuggets talk.
That's what we do here
right now. I got the fellas with me. Look at this. Brendan Vogt, another flower shirt. You think he's running low? Absolutely not.
Come on, man. The vibes are carrying me right now. Just riding a real high wave. Everything's turning up Nuggets right now. I love that we do this because there should be more than the 4 quarters for a fan of any team. Happy to provide the more today.
Yeah, well, let's just stick on Vogt for a second here. Let's get that close up here because we are introducing the panel. Yeah. We got everybody here.
Let me pull up the ad
just
reads,
stay in.
maybe.
Yeah, just there you go, Vogt. Just good stuff. And you know what? We also have over here D-Line Co.
What's up, guys? I just appeared out of the thin air.
What do you mean you were here? You were here. We didn't cut to your side just yet. You were here the whole time.
I meant earlier.
Before the show. And then, of course, Superstar Dev.
I mean, it was so good of a game last night that I said, you know what? Count me in for lunch tomorrow. So I got to come in for a regular day.
I love that. More Superstar Dev is in the house. It's a hangover edition. We have a note from Harrison Wynn from the arena. They had Nuggets practice today. Quick turnaround time, by the way, for them to go into a practice. So we'll hear from Wynn a little bit later on in the show. But we are basking in the afterglow. I'm always curious everybody's routines, after the games. I'll go ahead and start with mine. I go home. We hang out here for just a little bit afterwards, and I go home. I knew I had to be up this morning to do Locked On and do that kind of stuff, try to get all those ducks in a row. So I just laid in bed thinking I'd fall right asleep. 3 hours.
Yep.
3 hours of just scrolling, reading all of the Jokic content, Nuggets content, Murray content, surprising amount of Christian Brown content from last night.
A whole lot.
I was just going through all of that, man, and that was my routine. 10 out of 10. Highly recommend.
Yeah, close your eyes for this one, boss. Usually I go home and I write. I also just scroll Twitter. Just scrolled Twitter for 2 hours. Also 10 out of 10 for me.
Dev, what about you?
Every day I just try to get as much sleep as possible. Lately I've been waking up before my alarm. It pisses me off. So I do a little bit of scrolling, not so much. I just like to see who was most wrong. I actually like to look at our people, because they're attacking somebody nationally.
Oh, I see.
So I'm like, I wonder what they say, and then I'm getting tagged in a whole bunch. Lately, a lot more than usual. So I'm like, okay, what is the discourse today, or what are we talking about today? So I try to go with our people to see what they're talking about.
I like it. What about you, D-Line?
I went out with a bunch of Australians and got drunk.
Is it Groundhog Day for you? Right now?
I mean, I don't know what Vogt's trying to do. He was there too. He's trying to pretend he's scrolling Twitter. We were on Colfax, man.
Man, you were out patrolling Colfax.
Yeah, man. We were
How'd it go?
Incredible. Listen, people are like, even the Australians are like, man, what are you doing? And I'm like, listen, life is an unending horror. Every day is worse than the day that precedes it.
Eric's the most jovial person I know, yet this is what he always says. And
when life presents you moments of joy and happiness and fellowship and friendship, you should seize them and maximize them.
Is that what you were doing?
Yes. One Australian guy was like, man, kind of overwhelming. I was like, are you kidding? I love it. I love these guys. These are my favorite people. They're incredible.
This is like your take on when you go to a game, you like to also get Dippin' Dots because it makes it even better. That's
I go to a game, I eat an edible, I get some candy, I get a soda, and then I man spread as far as humanly possible.
Make everyone uncomfortable.
Yeah, dude. And then I go home to the horror that is my life.
Well, it had a really good start and not so great of an ending.
And that's his routine.
By the way, check out this beautiful shirt I got on right now.
Oh, yeah.
Look at this one, man. Eric's latest.
Yeah, dude.
All the Nuggets are good.
Truly a perfect shirt. A perfect summer shirt.
I love the brown on it, man.
Yeah, man. You would. That's lame, dude. I don't know. I
think you thought I was going to fill.
I wish he would have responded.
No. I want you to feel it.
You sit right there.
You had no reason to say anything.
It's the worst.
Said thank you.
You're right. Yep.
Guys, it is the hangover here, Kel. Why don't you bring up the graphic here? It's the hangover. Day after takes. A little more clear-minded, a little more thoughtful. We don't have the graphic ready to go, even though the title was Hangover Takes. There we go.
lost it.
Hangover Takes.
Let's
There we
go.
go. I'll start with you, Vogt. You know, you've marinated on it a little bit. You've joy scrolled. You've done all of those things. Is there anything different about how you view this game now, this Game 3 win?
No.
You were a little angry last night. Are you less angry?
Yeah, it's more unbridled joy. I was joyous too last night. It just presents as anger sometimes.
He was pretty angry, was he not?
There was nothing but anger.
I mean, it was in some ways the
Yeah.
best
Some would
part
say
of the
furious.
show. It made for a great show.
Maybe
but
passion is
yeah.
the word.
Well, yeah.
No, I said, look, it's, sometimes you wake up, you've rewatched the game, you have a whole new batch of takes. Similar stuff for me, man. Best duo in the NBA, best player in the NBA. It was today is probably the most vindicating day yet online.
Yeah.
I know we're gonna get to that, but there's just all doubt has been extricated, man. It's gone. Those guys are winners, and the world sees them as winners. It's awesome.
I would say, building on top of that, one of the cool things about this run, but about games like last night, which were historic for our favorites, the thing about it is nothing you can say is absurd.
I know.
You know what I mean?
No, we're untouchable.
All of these years, we would say something, and then people would be like, hold your horses, and we still have the horses of, they got 2 more wins, man. This is not over. But there is you can't question how good, statistically, these 2 guys can be, Jokic and Murray. And if we want to just single it to Jokic, nobody's doing it, man. Nobody's doing it. So there's nothing you can say about just this run so far. There's nothing you could take from him. You could say things like, is it the greatest statistical playoff run in history? Is it the most dominant run in history? You could say these things, and all people can say is, I disagree just because. Not because I have any evidence to the contrary.
Yeah, man, truly, truly, truly untouchable at this point. You can say whatever you want at this point, and the Nuggets are like, you can write the most ridiculous checks, and the Nuggets are cashing them.
Yeah.
They're just like, Jokic is the best player of all time, and people are like,
Statistically
God
true.
damn it. They're
Yeah,
like,
just a tough
they're like,
one, tough
I don't.
race. According to the advanced metrics, it's accurate. It's really unfortunate.
The wildest thing is that in my scrolling time today, I saw people were bringing Embiid back up. Embiid had
Poor
renaissance.
Embiid. Poor Embiid. Like, he doesn't want dragged back into this either.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if the shoe was on the other foot? Let's say Jokic gets knocked out in the second round, comes up super small in game 6 and 7, and then the equivalent of an Embiid run like this would be Embiid just scoring 50 every time.
Wow, that would be terrible.
Can you imagine though how bad it would feel if we were just like, damn, Embiid really is going for 50 every night.
every time.
Apparently, that's what they're watching is like another triple double, and this time it's a 30-20-10. Like the horror.
Yeah, man, it's this is what it is to really plant your flag on something, and why all of us here, like, for me especially, I say this all the time, like, I could have picked any sport to go headlong into, but I just saw the potential with this team, and like, I just believed so much that I was willing to stake my own personal reputation on it, and it's coming true. And I feel smart. I feel
smart.
I feel sexy.
I feel smart. Yeah. I feel smart is such a hilarious thing to say.
Yeah, dude, it is. I do. I feel super. I feel ultra smart, and I don't know. Obviously the job's not done. But even if everything was to fall apart at this exact moment in time, there's just the fact that everyone has had to publicly acknowledge and in many instances apologize for their oddly dismissive takes on Nikola Jokic that were based on the fact that what we all knew was the case. They just simply were not paying attention. They didn't think that it was worth their time to pay attention. And now you're like, yeah, man, like, this guy's incredible.
I'm more inclusive than you, though, in this one way. Because you're right, but I don't care. There's only a few holdouts that I'm like kind of laughing at now, the holdouts. But all the people that are jumping on the bandwagon of media people, like, I'm not upset at them anymore. I'm like, thank God, finally, man. Like, welcome to the club. Come on in, man. Let's all have some fun.
Exactly how I feel.
Yeah, I think it's good to put attention on those people that are still trying to hold on, because it's like, hey, he's proven to you time and time again, and also he's on such an incredible run that now you're like, you've already told on yourself, but at least there's people that's like, I can admit fault. I was late to this. But the people that are still doing it's like, okay, you're doubling down. You're just trying to stand on that.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't get upset. I'm not like, hey, it took you long enough. I mean, you feel like you should do those type of things, but it's like, hey, at least you came around to it. Now let's enjoy the movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think there's another stage past the feeling of vindication and petty stuff, which we're all enjoying right now. And I think it's well earned. But some of what I think you were getting at, there's new territory ahead where it's a blissful place where we just all agree to enjoy this.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
Because the original inspiration for me as someone who loves sports, I realized I had stumbled upon something incredible and I wanted to share it with everyone. And then it turned into indignation as so many people like kind of turn the other cheek. And so it's great to say I told you so, but what's even better is now can we all just watch? Can we all just watch and enjoy it together? Because this is one of those guys that you just don't want to take for granted.
Yeah.
We go back to hangover takes though, Dev. Do you have any takes? You know, you woke up the morning and you had like fresh eyes on about it or anything of that nature?
I thought Jamal Murray was incredible last night. I truly think that he was spectacularly incredible.
I mean, he was.
I think he was just like really way better than we think. I mean, I know that the numbers are going to say it just because he did get the triple-double. Even if he didn't get the triple-double, like he really did show like why they are, you know, two of the best duos, like, or one of the best duos of all time with that run. I think it just marked off with getting that last rebound in the closing seconds. But this is a guy that really, honestly, he's coming off of a injury, and it does not matter. He's having one of the best playoff runs of all time, while Jokic is also having the best playoff run of all time. And for it to coincide at the exact same time.
Is this our life?
We can say whatever we want.
It's so absurd, but it's again.
Is it wrong?
True. It's also true.
Is it wrong?
No.
They're having them at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
On the same team.
Yeah.
So,
But
like, the Jamal, like, really, he was better than what we even think.
One of my favorite things, let me jump in here though, because one of my favorite things was people talking about Murray being the head of the snake. And people have said this almost as an insult. And you could tell the metaphor doesn't work because the head of the snake is a typical team. We all know Yoke's the guy, the fulcrum, right? But you can't take him away. But it does make sense when people say he's the head of the snake because it's a two-headed snake. This is the thing about it is a great duo, and you don't get to just focus on, well, LeBron doesn't like to do this, and we need to take away this, or this, or you know whatever player it is. It's like no, there's two of them, and they both play off each other so well in a way that you can't take away both. Like nobody can take away both things.
The only thing you really can do, and I honestly think what a lot of this comes down to, is just trying desperately to take their pick and roll away.
Yep.
You know, that's really all team. And maybe,
I thought they could though, man.
And maybe Murray gets it done as a scorer and Jokic gets it done as a scorer, right? But you would hope we can keep them out of that two-man thing because it actually has this permeating effect on all five guys.
Yep.
And so that's what they're trying to say. But
didn't you think though, like, because in game 2 they did,
They
and that's
did.
why I was like, there is a way to disrupt Denver. It lasted one game, man.
That's the
they
thing.
got the thing about that one about last night. A hangover take is they proved that even the best defenses with the smartest coach and the smartest players and the most versatile guys with the perfect game plan, even that has a shelf life. And once they solve it, it's solved.
I think it's the third or fourth straight round now, depending on how you feel about Schroeder in the Lakers series, where Jamal has at some point encountered some version of they're trying this and it threw you off for a game. How are you going to respond? And he's responded with masterful performances.
The Murray glow up to me has just been so great because, as you mentioned, Dev, 34, 10, and 10. I mean, it's only in the shadow of Jokic's triple-double. And I have to say, props to Jamal Murray, man, for being a Jokic guy. And what I mean by that is not every player would be comfortable putting up a NBA Finals triple-double and living in the shadow. And somehow his acceptance of being in Jokic's shadow elevates him out of the shadow. His acceptance of being a part of a duo is what makes them talked about as the best duo. And I think that's like, it's an underrated thing. This is why I argued I'd rather have Murray than Booker and these guys. Like, even if I'm not 100% sure about some of these great players, you see levels like this and you're like, what's it matter, man? He's good enough and he knows how to solve problems. He can do everything and the chemistry is perfect. So why would you take anybody else?
Yeah, I mean, they did both 30-point triple-double in a game that their team scored 109 points. like they were really like perfect together.
Do we know how many points they generated? 20 assists. Do we know how many points that was for, though?
Every single one of them. I didn't even have to do the math. Every single one of them. Like that. That is incredible. 109 points with the assist on top of that. And they weren't only to each other.
They had more. So they had as many combined points and more combined rebounds and assists than the Heat's entire starting five.
That's wild. But you talk about Jamal being a Jokic guy. Like, a guy that scored 30 points and he's been having, incredible run where he's jumped his points per game and everything else, but he's also jumped an assist per game. He's playing within a system. He's breaking that system. The opposite team is a tough team that takes away like the best things of your game. They can't take away what these two have. And it just seems so simple. Pick and roll. How do you stop the pick and roll? Well, they slowed him down on scoring, but the offensive efficiency is all the way there. Yeah. The offensive rating is all the way up. But they go so well together that I don't know how you slow that down. And I think that they're having a very tough time thinking of it.
I think if you get them out of this two-man real team basketball thing they're trying to do, they each individually have this break glass in case of emergency layer of individual greatness and scoring prowess, where they will likely figure out how to break you down anyway. But even if they can't, like Miami had that insane defensive possession, where Murray ended up I think he was in the third. Murray hits that step back three or sidestep three past Bam.
Oh, that was a tough one.
We're like, what could Miami have done better in that sequence? And then it's when it comes down to it, if you need these guys to just make a tough shot, they can both do that too.
That's what's so dope about the Nuggets is they generate the looks they want, but on the rare occasions they don't. They hit the shots they didn't want. And it's like, it really does put you in that spot, man.
Yeah.
What a rewarding run so far. Nuggets do just have 2 games left. I do think that this game tomorrow is going to be a dogfight. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but let's take a break. On the other side, I want to hear from Harrison Wind, who was at Kaseya Center. What's it called? Kaseya Center?
Bro, I have no.
Sounds like a good use of corporate funds to
Cassius
buy.
Clay Center.
No one can
it.
even say it.
Nobody can remember what it is. We're going to hear from him, though, from Nuggets practice here after the break.
Professional rugby has returned to Rugby Town, USA. That's here, baby. That's right here. We're talking about Glendale, Colorado. The American Raptors have begun the 6-match homestand against the 6 South American rugby teams that make up the brand new Super Rugby Americas competition. You can find that full schedule online. You can check out our guy Colton Strickler too at the DNVR Rugby Podcast. Does a great job breaking it down for layman's, for the pros. Follow him at Colton Strickler and at DNVR_rugby. Tickets are just $10 and children 12 and under are free. If you can't make it, watch all of the American Raptors matches live on ESPN Plus. You got to check out Infinity Park. It's a beautiful venue and it's a really cool location to, if you didn't know, tap into a thriving rugby culture here in Colorado. And that's what we do, man. We spread the local vibes. Check out your Raptors, affordable, and for the kids, it's free. This next one is not for the kids, but it is affordable. Kind Love Dispensary, our new friends.
They were here at the bar yesterday, by the way, watching the game, cheering on the Nugs.
I would say their love was a little overwhelming.
Very kind.
They gave us bags of love.
They did give us bags of love.
Yeah, they gave us some real samples. They gave us a couple joints. They gave us some flour to try, and if you can believe it or not, I've tried it.
Yeah, what'd you think?
I stand by it.
Let's go.
It's really good. It's really smooth. It tastes good. I felt great. That was not just because the Nuggets won. I also did try the new Turbo Core, the 100 milligram stick that looks exactly like a toothpick. It's their own design. You stick it in a joint, and you get even higher.
Or
How
a
cool
cigarette
is
or whatever.
Visit one of their stores in Cherry Creek or North Denver. Mention DNVR and receive the DNVR exclusive discount of 25% off all Kind Love flour, pre-rolls, and their Turbo Joint line. Visit their website at kindlove.com for their full extensive menu and online ordering. Kind Love. I've smoked it. I like it.
Is that on there?
Is that on there?
No, but I just...
He's like, but it is also true.
Yeah, so that's how I'm finishing those reads now.
There you go. All right, back here, segment 2. Let's go ahead and play that video, Kale, from Harrison Wind live at whatever the name is of that arena.
All right, guys, what's up? Wind here at I even forget what this arena is called. Kaseya Center. I'm at the Heat Arena. Nuggets just wrapped up practice after Game 3. Here are some of the takeaways. A lot of talk today about Nikola Jokic's defense, and of course, the Nuggets held the Heat to 94 points in Game 3. Their second Monday of the playoffs, and a big part of it was Nikola Jokic's defense. Jokic contested a game-high 21 shots last night in Game 3. The next most was Bam Adebayo with 14 contests. And Nikola Jokic held Bam Adebayo to 4 of 13 shooting when he was his primary defender. 4 of 13 shooting. Jamal Murray called Nikola Jokic an elite defender today. And Michael Malone said, it's not all about the eye test. If you actually know what you're looking at, you see a really good defender there. Of course, Jokic was asked about his defense and limiting Bam Adebayo, the 4-13 Bam shot when he was guarding him. Of course, Nikola said he didn't feel like he affected Bam or really anybody's shot that much in Game 3. Another storyline that we talked about today just now, Jamal Murray's bounce back. In that Game 2 loss, Jamal Murray was not good. He was not that effective. You didn't really feel his presence. And he put a lot of that Game 2 loss on him. And, Michael Malone has said over the last couple of days how Jamal is a leader of this team, vocally and emotionally, and he didn't feel like he was leading his team in Game 2. He didn't feel Jamal's energy and his typical presence. Malone said just a couple minutes ago that, Jamal wasn't all the way there. And, they spoke about that. They had conversations about that. And so a big part of Game 3 was Jamal getting back to being the leader that he normally is on the court and in the locker room for this team. And that's what he did. Jamal talked about kind of just his mental process and getting his mentality right heading into these games. He said he envisioned what his Game 3 would look like. He even said that he asked the Nuggets equipment managers what jersey color and what jerseys the Nuggets are wearing that night. So going into a game, he can envision the type of game he's going to have. And he said he did that before last night. And there you go. He had a great Game 3. Some other notes here from Nuggets practice. Michael Malone is firmly still in Michael Porter Jr.'s corner. Of course, MPJ, not a great Game 3, was pretty absent in the first half. Made a couple plays, a couple hustle plays, got some nice rebounds in that second half to kind of save his night a little bit. But Michael Malone said this about Michael Porter. I have zero doubt that he's going to have a very big game coming up here that's going to help us win a championship. So he's still in Michael Porter's corner. And just looking at MPJ at practice today, the Nuggets just practiced down here a few minutes ago as well. He was in good spirits. He was getting up a lot of threes, that's for sure. But he was in good spirits. He was in a good mood. So I think, he is also in a good place heading into Game 3 or heading into Game 4. And maybe the bounce back could be coming. The final note I've got here, and this is just a little bit of insight, a little bit behind the curtain on Nikola Jokic, something he said today about what I'll call his mission in the playoffs and in the finals. He was asked if this is the biggest moment of his career, just this playoff run, being on this final stage. And he said, yes, of course, it definitely is. But that's because we have Ish Smith, DeAndre Jordan, Jeff Green, who have been in the league a long time. And Jeff's made the finals. Obviously, none of them have won a championship, though. And he says it's the biggest moment of my career because I can give those guys a chance to win a championship finally, and he said, maybe it's the last kind of opportunity for them. So that's why Nikola Jokic is viewing this as his biggest moment, because he's got a chance to win the championship for not just him, but for the vets on this team and this entire organization. That's all the notes I've got from practice today. The Nuggets, I talked about this on the post-game show, I think last night, but I got a little nervous energy from them even in the lead up to Game 3. They've been so relaxed, so focused all playoffs. I sensed some nervousness from them before Game 3. Obviously, they were locked in and focused during that game. And today, I got the sense that they're back to being, lighthearted, not taking this too stressfully. I think they're all in really good headspaces. I think they're just locked back in and they have their mojo back to who they've been for most of these playoffs. So that's all I've got. Talk to you guys soon.
Man, how good did Harrison look in that lighting?
Was he talking?
I mean, it just looked like he was
He was
couldn't.
glowing.
like-
Actually, this is my first time thinking it. he might be handsome.
I was just.
You've heard us say it, but you never really
I
bought
mean, we
it.
haven't said it in a long time. He's not looking the same.
I was like Jokic. There was a pool day. I was just
He's
swimming in
looking
his
good
eyes.
now.
Miami win versus Vegas vote. Who you got?
Ooh.
I don't know.
It's a real.
There's
it's a
not
real
many
vibes off.
There's
One
not
of-
many people going to make
One of them is gonna get us into an exclusive restaurant. The other one, I might have to bail out of prison.
I'm not going to tell you which is which.
I thought you played that safe. Thank you.
Dead playing safe. A couple notes from what he said there. First of all, untrained eye is one of the great additions to the NBA lexicon of the year. It might be number one.
It is
the
great.
best way to call. I've always hated casual, just because like
You're right.
most fans are casual. So
There's
calling
no
them a
shame
casual,
in it.
there's no shame in
It's
being
a
like,
game.
It's
They're
actually,
like, you haven't devoted your entire life to this? Kill yourself.
exactly. But untrained eye is such
Yeah.
a great little dig. It's such a perfect like. You don't know what you're talking about. What is Malone's? What was his one? He had one in here like. Damn it! I just put untrained eye in quotation marks, but he basically says
Yeah.
the same thing, which I kind of like. If you don't about Jokic's defense, if you don't know what you're looking for, then you might not recognize it. And I just love that because we're going to talk about it later. But this is one of the big glow ups of this playoff run. Jokic accepted as a good defender.
God damn it.
I'm serious, man.
That's
like
so true.
The haters. It's one of the things that's like the most in shambles. Is people are like, well, I guess the nerds were right. He can defend.
It hasn't come up once. Once. Meanwhile, the other bigs can't guard him.
At all.
He can guard them, though. So, yeah, I mean, it's all been
Didn't
put to
someone
bed.
just come out and say that he's a good defender? Someone just was interviewed like a star.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was,
Who was it?
Was it Jimmy Butler?
Jimmy Butler.
Oh, yeah. Jimmy
Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, that's
He
right.
said he's a hell of a
Yeah,
defender.
he,
as well.
he actually pulled out in his own untrained eye about like not
Yeah.
knowing what you're
Yeah.
looking at.
There might have been someone else too.
You're
But,
right.
like,
There
yeah.
have been a handful. Yeah.
Yeah, that they're talking about his defense. Like
Yeah.
you guys all know him for how good he is offensively. They're talking about his defense, and these are guys that he's playing against.
Right.
Which, after the series and after a lot of these times, they're saying that our game plan was to go with this. But I mean, we see it in the TPA where he's always in the right corner. I want to call that the Jokic. Whatever.
The Jokic chart,
The
yeah.
Jokic chart. But you just see like he is playing good defense, and for the untrained eye, you would say that it's
Man,
bad defense.
There is we need to do a power ranking of glow ups in this postseason. I think the biggest glow
it's
up.
coming up.
Well, the biggest
hold
glow
it.
up. All right.
That's
all
a
right.
superlative.
Okay.
That's a superlative we have later on.
Well, we didn't prep.
I know. I'm just saying. That's why I'm pausing you. Another one I have here is the idea that Murray wasn't all the way there in Game 2. I kind of like it. First of all, it is interesting. I don't put this on Murray. I think the whole team was unfocused, and if we talked about Michael Porter's defense, we talked about guys mixing up. So Jamal, I guess Jamal Murray's defense a little bit, but I do like the idea that they're saying as a leader going into Game 3, he was all about it, and I even love the anecdote about trying to visualize. I always see this stuff. I need somebody that's. This is such a bad confession, but I always see the meditation. People focus this or that. I never know what it is. I didn't grow up with knowing how to meditate or this or that. Him saying that he literally had to get all the details right so he can envision it, and then going out and dropping a 30-point triple-double. I got to get into it.
Yeah, man.
I got to get into this.
He's a fellow man of vision.
Manifesting is a real powerful thing, man.
Some of us have visions. Yeah, laugh all you want. Some of us have visions. Some of us see things in the future, and you need the details. And the closer they get, the more filled in.
I think you have. I know you have visions.
Oh, I
know you
I'm
have
not.
visions.
I'm not even kidding. I see things happen down the line, and it's not because I hang out with Ariana. It's because
She had a vision.
it's because I allow myself space and time to follow the thought pattern to the logical end. And the more information I have, the clearer the path becomes. And then I'm like, well, this is probably going to happen based on all the information.
Use promo code DNVR for 25% off Kind Love.
No.
Eric's right. Eric is right about that. I've known him long enough to know that he really does do this. You phrased it like Kanye West, so I just want to say, you do have a little Kanye.
Well,
sometimes.
I'm good. That's
In
because
both that
Jamal
you
Murray.
are a genius, and
That's 'cause
also
Jamal Murray made it seem
too
like a
aware of your
mysticism
own
thing.
genius, but nonetheless, it is. I know Eric well enough to know that he really does what would you call this? Almost like game theory out. You said it. Start thinking about like he said, this, then this, then this, and it really is a powerful thing. And maybe it is as simple as that for Jamal Murray, what he's talking about. But I just feel like I love the idea of him even getting into the
Yeah, man.
uniforms and being like, okay, where's all the media sitting? Okay, Ramona's over there. Harrison Wynn's over here.
Yeah, dude.
So when I hit the shot, I look over, I see, I just love it.
Blackburn will tweet this.
Yeah, exactly.
Then I'm gonna look over and I'm gonna say,
Love you, Ryan.
Bang! I love it. MPJ being in good spirits is, I like that as well. I mean, look, we all know this. I mean, you actually can relate to this because we all have our agendas. And sometimes you can imagine being Michael Porter. You just got the biggest win of your career.
No, I can't. I'm very short.
But I'm just saying, you can
jumper
envision
sucks.
having the biggest win, but it feeling like not great because you were the one guy that sort of didn't have the good night. But I like the idea that you could you can roll those things off. It's just like, hey man, like this happens, and in the end, no one's gonna remember Michael Porter's game 3 or 2 or any of that. They're gonna remember Michael Porter champion. And
Right.
if he gets a chance to have a big moment, that's what they'll remember. They won't remember anything else.
Totally. And I think he's always been really good at that, actually.
Yeah.
The short memory, the swallowing his pride kind of thing. He would love to be contributing, right? But they won, and they're up 2-1, and that's just fine by Mike. He's going to keep shooting. He's going to keep getting shots. I like that Malone came out and said that. I think a little bit of being in your corner publicly can go a long way. So it's good to hear that he's in good spirits, but he's the guy, guy's a professional, man. These are the lessons he's spent the regular season learning.
Right.
And
then the last one, which is the best one, Dev, wanting to win it for the vets. This idea, and I saw this quote, last night, Joy scrolling, but the idea of, or maybe it was this morning, the idea that you want, Jeff Green might be his last chance. Ish Smith, who's not even that big of a part of the on-court portion of the team, and DeAndre Jordan, same thing. The idea that he's like, yeah, man, we could win it next year if we lose this year, but are all these guys going to be here? No, you only get one chance to do it with this group, and I really think a lot of people get annoyed with Yoke because of how much he deflects personal attention, but I honestly think he's telling you something. Like, people get annoyed, like, come on, man, just tell us this. Like, no, he's actually telling you. You just don't have ears to hear it. That's where his motivation
The untrained ears.
The untrained ears, man. He's actually telling you the most insightful thing, which is that he takes a lot more satisfaction out of the people that he's lifting up rather than himself who he's lifting up.
Yeah, I love that. Really, every single championship team has found that new motivation, and having an older guy that has put in the sacrifices, that is, staying long hours and playing extra, like, it gives him one more thing. There was a point in time this year where Denver got bored with just winning, or just the entire process where they're ready for this moment. That gives them a new sense of it. You worked all this hard, this way. They're gonna have another good run next year. But you have Jeff Green on the team, who they continue to talk about how much it would mean to get him one. You have DeAndre Jordan, how much it would mean to get him one. Ish Smith, who's been a journeyman, his entire career. It means a lot more, and that's where the culture comes into place, because that's their point of being on this team, is to just motivate the team in different ways, to bring different things out of them, and for it to be the older guys that they aren't going to have many other opportunities. This might be the last year for a couple of them, so you do want them to have a newfound sense of motivation.
Mm-hmm. Jeff Green's played for a lot of great players, and I do just love this idea of, like, if Yoke's the one to do it for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
He's played with a lot of the best players of all time.
Everyone else let me down, man. You did not.
It's going to be the best when he calls him the best guy he's played with. But
Oh, it's coming.
I hope it's coming.
The other thing I think some of what Jokic
would
was
be amazing.
maybe trying to say, because Malone has hit this note a bunch in these locker room speeches, is that it's not just for the vets. It could be now or never for them too, right? Like Jeff and Ish and these guys have been along a long time. And the reality is you don't go back to the finals every year. You get one, maybe two chances. These guys still haven't done it. So I think some of the messaging is for the guys who will be a part of the future as well. It is not guaranteed that we come back to this place as good as we think we are, man.
Right.
And this team knows better than anyone after the last 2 years how quickly it can all be taken away from you. So that's part of it as well.
I love it. All right, let's take another break. On the other side, I want to get to some superlatives about last night, about this run, about life in general.
If you are a transplant, new to Denver, returning to Denver, and you're looking to get back into or start an adult social circle, as a fellow transplant, I strongly endorse Volo Sports.
You guys got a kickball game tonight? Is that what?
Yeah, we're cup in hand kickball league, bro.
Wow, cup in hand kickball.
That's a great example. We also had a bowling team together. You can find myriad sports, varying difficulties, degree of competition. You can just put together a team with strangers or friends. It's a great way to meet people, get out, see the city. And the reason we play at Volo is so the kids can play free. The Volo Kids Foundation is a separate 501c3 that provides free sports camps to kids in each Volo city. Check out the Volo Pass, a monthly membership program that gives unlimited access to sports, events, and social activities every night. It's $20 per month or $200 per year. And they've got leagues in all throughout the city: Lodo, Rhino, Uptown, City Park, Highlands, Sloan's Lake, Cherry Creek, DU, Englewood, Arvada, Aurora, Northfield, and more. Urbana.
Come on, dude.
Mr. Chance at Maylee's. Get your Volo Pass. Start playing in the leagues as a free agent today. Make sure to use code DNVR10 for $10 off. www.volosports.com/Denver. Illegal Pete's is where I like to go to eat my burritos with my buddies. And then sometimes my buddies don't want to go because they're sick of me, and I go anyway because the burritos are so good.
You can go for the beer and the burritos.
The beer and the burritos. Also, unironically, one of my favorite things about Denver, the first thing I noticed when I moved here, is what a great patio culture you guys have.
Yeah,
I mean that earnestly.
We have. Come on, bro. Are you in or out? You're either with us or against
Will you
us.
have me?
Take
We
that out
have.
on the way out.
I love it, man. I love it. So you get a bucket of beers, get some margs, sit with the fellas, the ladies outside, enjoy your smothered burrito. What a treat. Check out Illegal Pete's.
I'll tell you who likes Leo Pete's. The Australians.
Hell yeah.
They're raving about it. They're like, yes.
That's awesome.
They're like, you know what they love? The taquitos.
Really?
Listen, I didn't.
Hey, man, you know what?
I didn't see
I'm
it
with
coming.
it. I didn't see that either, but all right. The taquitos are special there. They are unique.
I do like the taquitos.
All right. I love that we got invaded by Australians. Literally, honest to God, how many Australians do you think came through?
The bigger question
that are in
is
our world. You know,
Like
the
20.
bigger question is how many
No, more.
Australians
More.
are left in Australia?
that's so true. It's
I was like, we have to check the news.
it's a vacant country
And
at
they
the
kept
moment.
saying, I've never met any other Nuggets fans. I'm like, how is this possible?
How is it possible? The whole bar is full of Australians right
You're
now.
all. No.
Where are
throwing-
you guys from? The same place.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What?
You guys don't hang out?
I'm like, hey, you should go talk to him. He's an Australian. And then I'm like, is this like when you and your girlfriend go hang out with another couple and they're like, oh, hey, you two guys hang out. You can talk about sports and stuff.
Yeah. The
But it turns out
connection.
they all hang out. They're
Yeah,
fine.
they do. All right, all right, let's get to some superlatives here, and I'm going to start with you, Eric, because you brought this one up a little bit earlier. But who or what is having the best glow up for the Nuggets?
The best glow up, not for the Nuggets, but in general, advanced analytics.
That's not where I thought you were going.
Bro, all this stuff where it's like, oh, okay, you need a calculator. It says he's good on defense, but if you watch him, everything's right, dude.
Yeah, I know.
He's that much better than it. All of these numbers actually mean something. They're based on something. They're telling a story. It's not the only way to look at it, but like you cannot pretend that they're not actually reflecting some reality of the game. And Jokic is showing that. All the people that dismiss him as this idea, like this analytics darling, are just having to all 100%, one by one, eat crow. They're like, oh, God damn it. If only there was some way to clearly show that this was a person we should be paying attention to. Okay, advanced analytics, good on
job.
you.
Good
Good
job.
on you.
Good job. All right, Dev, how do you top that?
Jamal Murray.
Ah!
Jamal Murray is the answer. He's now in the discussion of top 5 point guards. He hasn't been in that discussion, the entire year. You could name 5 guys right now that, is in that discussion. They were starting to argue about like him being other people that he probably was over. He's not an all-star. He doesn't get those same type of discussions. But now we're starting to talk about him in the same light of top duo of all time, like in a historical sense. Off of this run, he's having such a historical run right now where people are saying, hey, he is good. And I think people thought he was good, but I didn't think that they thought he was this good.
Totally.
And just taking over. Everybody remembers him from the bubble. We're not even talking about Bubble Murray. I didn't hear that at all today after him having a 30-point triple-double.
Yeah, he's better.
He's
better.
actually just showing that he's better. And also, this is just the norm. People are talking about them banging. They haven't won one championship. People are talking about them banging off, more than one. Next year, the year after that, and things like that. That's a glow up.
Yeah, dude, like talking about Bubble Murray is like talking about high school Dev.
Yeah, I knew it though.
He was good back then, but like, come on.
Come on, man.
Yeah, he's better now.
Man, and I'm telling
Better
you,
now.
so
Superstar Dad better than.
with Jamal, I'm looking at the Ringers top 100 players. Remember, they ranked him. And coming into the season, ESPN had him like 50th something. He's coming back from injury. They were factoring that in. Ringer had him 29th. And to be honest with you, it felt almost high.
Right.
Because it was like, all right, they're, whatever. Right ahead of him, Brandon Ingram. Already, I think most people would look at that and say one of these guys is a proven winner. The other guy has a lot of skill. I'm not calling him a loser. I'm just saying,
pull it together, Jamal Murray.
the thing about Murray is, he's a winner. Like he just wins. Lowry Markkanen, great season.
Great season. Most improved player.
Pascal Siakam, who's great. He's a champion as well.
Yep.
He was a champion as the second best player. So I'll leave it there. Jalen Brunson, amazing year.
Yeah.
This is a different level, though.
He had an amazing playoffs too.
Yeah.
Different level.
Different level, though. It's a
There are
different
levels
level.
to this.
If we keep crawling up, like Trae Young is 21. Now I get it because he puts up absurd numbers. He is an engine. He is the way Jokic is the scorer and the facilitates all of that. Trae Young does as well. But do you think there's anybody on earth that would want to take Trae Young right now over Jamal Murray?
Trae Young.
What did I say?
Him.
No, Eric's saying
the only
Trae Young would make that
Trae Young,
too.
yeah. Trae Young. But I'm being serious about this, and I like Trae. I don't want to turn this into
Maybe MPJ.
I don't want us to do the thing that we get mad at everyone else, where you just shit
No,
on
I
the
know.
other players. But I am saying, like, Trae Young, for as good as he is, Murray does the stuff that matters on this stage.
Yep.
You know what I mean? This stage is different, and Murray's doing this against Jimmy Butler
Yeah, dude.
as part of a system.
The stakes matter in these things. Like these accomplishments in the face of this like extreme pressure mean something. It's very meaningful, especially when you're talking about like basketball's not. I mean, we just like to watch it, but there is an ultimate goal. There is an
Right.
ultimate winner. Again, that's the best part about sports. At the end of the day, there's a right goddamn answer. Like you can say like, I like this guy better, and you're like, okay, cool. He lost.
Yeah.
He didn't win.
The ones I'll feel passionate about, like John Morant, 17. Again, it's so hard to quantify the star versus a guy who's a number 2, but he's so good at it. I get it. But again, I will take Jamal Murray. I just will because he does stuff that to me is, again, that translates to this stage.
I mean, is Ja even technically in the NBA
Oh,
currently?
come on.
Well, and then the best thing is that it's the chemistry too, right? That you could find a better player in a vacuum. They're not going to have better chemistry than Jokic and Murray have now. They grew
More
up
buy-in.
They grew up playing together. They grew up in the NBA playing together.
Bro, have we analyzed the idea that the two like most selfless stars are from Serbia and Canada?
We haven't talked about it per se, no.
Think about that though. Like we went to Serbia. Everyone is will fall all over themselves to make sure that you have a good time. They're like very interested in the idea of a larger collective.
Canadian niceness, is this what we're
Canada,
getting to?
known as like the most polite country. There's something about like ego being checked at the door, and
That's Canadian, a very Canadian thing.
Serbian and Canadian players. I don't know. I'm just saying.
All
like,
right, well, it's a theory. But here's the one I wanted to get to. Donovan Mitchell at 15. And again, Donovan Mitchell is a star. I've always thought this, though, man. He is such a better scorer. And he might be a better scorer than Murray. He might not be, by the way, but he might be. But Murray just does everything, man. And the way he solved the problem last game, in game 3, going from game 2 to game 3 and saying, okay, here's what they're doing. Here's how I get out of it. And I have the tool bag to do what I need to do, but also I have the understanding, the IQ to figure it out. I just would not swap Jamal Murray with Donovan Mitchell. And it's not, to me, that's not like a tough one. That's an easy one. You know what I mean? Am I crazy, Dev?
Not now. Like
Right, not now, yeah.
not anymore.
Right.
But that's why I think that that's the biggest glow up. You're saying names that if you said that beforehand, no one was saying these things. They would have said that you are crazy. That's a hot take.
Yeah.
But he has proven himself on the biggest stage when it all truly matters, that he is not only up there, but he's better than a lot of those people, and you would rather have them. Think about 2 months ago. He was playing really well, but if you would have said he's better than Trae Young, he's better than Donovan Mitchell, people were like, yeah, you're crazy.
Yep.
You were actually
Well, first of all, I
insane.
said it and people told me it, so I know it. It's true.
But that's why he is that's the glow up. That's
Right.
what it is.
Then, what about you? Glow up.
Michael Malone.
That's
Michael
a
Malone,
great one.
who I think this stuff can change. Jamal Murray's NBA life has changed forever. Michael Malone's too. He's going to get thrown in all these conversations as one of the best coaches, one of the best leaders. His sound bites are great when he's mic'd up on the court, off the court, in the pressers. And I think there are a lot of people that are just looking at him like, I like that energy. My team could use that. And then you can take it a step further. The preparation, this is the most prepared the Nuggets have looked each round, right, that they have in their years together. And then even just tactically, I mean, Spoelstra is the pound for pound the best coach in the league. It hasn't looked like a coaching mismatch. It helps when you start.
Denver was so prepared last game.
So prepared. And Michael Malone, a guy who probably should have gotten more votes over the years for Coach of the Year than he did, was never really in that conversation. I promise you that will be different going forward.
Yeah. I love that answer. You guys all have great answers so far. Honestly, I think that you could make... There's only one other player you could make a case for, and it's Jokic. It's hard to say just because he wasn't a two-time MVP, so how much could it go? But I do think that it's rare to win an opinion argument.
Man,
it's very rare.
The wildest thing about Malone is that he's like kind of taken the media head on. Like Nick Wrights and that they will call him out to be like, yeah, Michael Malone out here talking all this time. And then now they're like, oh, God damn it. Like, and he's just grinning there, and they're like, they have to be like, all right, yes, you were right. We should. I mean, the other thing is just another thing that's really gotten a glow up is just the idea that the Nuggets are worth paying attention to. That the idea, I've seen this.
Great take.
I've seen this being talked about a lot from people that are casuals with the untrained eyes watching. They're Pat McAfee, for example. I heard another conversation he had where it was like, how come he had Brian Windhorst on? He was like, why weren't we shown these Nuggets? Like, why is this coming out of nowhere? This team is so dominant. Why is this something that nobody heard about until the league and or the playoffs? And Windhorst was like, well, they were there, and then he took them to the whole. The whole saga. Jamal Murray got hurt, blah, 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 blah. But I just feel like, in a way, basketball is having a great glow up.
I love this one.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like people.
Dude, the ratings are good. Like
the ratings are good. People are showing you that they are interested in just generational talent that is not charismatic by traditional standards, or at least in intentional ways that your normal star goes down the path of, and it's working, and people love it. So it's like great.
I love it. Yeah, Malone to me probably would be my answer. I like analytics as well. I like Murray as well, and then Jokic again. It's hard to make that argument, but it's so rare that you see an issue that is 50-50 split go to 99-1. And that's where we're at. The holdouts are like so few that it's like,
it's an all-time vindication run.
All time.
I was so rarely, actually, maybe in my life in sports, because has greatness been so disputed and so indisputably put to bed, that doubt.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
All right. What's been the most impressive part of Denver's run?
Oh, composure for me. I think composure, preparedness, the mental toughness of it all. I think I always thought they were talented enough that their A+ game could do it, but the myriad ways they've won, the way they respond to the rare challenges. They've only lost 4 times, but I like how they've responded to it. The way they talk about each other and in between games and series. The mental grind of how long these runs are crazy. Is crazy, and it's clearer to me than ever. And I think these guys are so committed to just every day preaching and acting out the right habits.
For me, I think it's a variety. They have won in different ways.
Man,
Not one win has been the same. Miami has done a great job, and just teams have done a great job of taking things away from Denver. And they're like, oh, okay, like I'm going to do that with my left hand, this time. I'm going to do that without a left leg. Just taking things away, and they still are finding ways without any excuses, without any setbacks. It's just like, hey, we're going to figure that out, and then we'll get better. And that just goes to show like how strong this group really is. One guy doesn't play well, another guy does. So it's just different types of wins that I did not see them being able to handle on the fly.
Yeah. I was going to say just the construction of the team, like, is so impressive to see how how they're built, how they have an answer for everything. But, it's also just amazing to watch that Jokic is like, I cannot believe I'm still impressed by Jokic every time that I see like, and it keeps growing.
Right.
Like the stage gets bigger and he is not any different at all. The only thing that changes, he gets better.
Yeah.
Like you think about you're going up against Jimmy Butler. We went up against Kevin Durant. We've got like all LeBron James, like the biggest marquee names in the NBA, and we watched all of them wilt at least one game. And then we have not since wilt on our side.
Right.
That just every goddamn game is you can pencil him in for a bedrock of 20 points minimum, 25 probably minimum. Some number of rebounds is going to be in the double digits. Like he's going to be touching a triple-double every single time, and it's not like, oh man, like when you go into a game, it's not like, oh god, okay, I hope Jimmy Butler shows up for us tonight. It's like, I hope somebody else goes along with Jokic, because you just don't even think about Jokic not showing up. It's just you start from a triple-double, and then the rest of the team has to build on top of it.
I'll say for me, Denver's problem solving, and this is both on offense and defense, but I'm just so impressed with how quickly they're able to make adjustments. Oftentimes within the flow of a game, just like, okay, they're doing this. All right, let's do this thing, and they adjust to it. But even defensively, it's true, man. Like Denver's had to do, to your point, Dev, they've had to win a couple of different ways, and they're just up for it, and not even up for it over the course of a series immediately. Like, okay, adjust, boom. Beat them that way. And
it used to take them long too.
Used to take them a long time, but this is why when people have a young team and they start to think, could we do it? Like, are we ready to win a title? Oftentimes the answer is no, you don't know. Playoffs are different, and this is where they're different. Teams always look good doing their best thing. And when the regular season, most of the time you're doing your best thing, it's, hey, can you do all of the things at a high level? And Denver's, you just forced them to the most uncomfortable game ever, is still the best offense in the NBA. Honestly,
yep.
Denver, if we go through offensive rating right now, Nuggets, number one at 119.3 offensive rating. Number two is the Clippers, who only played 5 games, 116. 3 points per 100 possessions, Denver is better on a significantly higher sample size. And by the way, the Clippers just played the Suns, who aren't exactly a very good defense. You go back to teams that actually played games, 116 for the Celtics, 115 for Miami, who's in the finals. Denver just head and shoulders offensively above everyone else. And doing that in this finals, despite the fact that they've only made like 20 total threes over 3 games, they're doing this with just 2 pointers, which we thought wasn't possible.
Also, the sort of belief we all had that defense matters, but this offense is so good that maybe top 10-ish. You know what I mean?
Right.
You don't have to be the best defense in the league because you still got to outscore Jokic. And they needed to get better defensively, but I think there's a lot to the former point that the baseline is just, are you sure you can keep up with this?
Right.
Because good luck.
By the way, 111.4 defensive rating in the playoffs, and that's by going up against the Lakers, go up against the Suns, and still that great defense. Very impressive. One quick mini break here before we have a little bit of fun. We want to scroll the timeline. Finally a fun part of the show.
Finally gonna have some fun on this goddamn
Pins
show.
and Aces is the official golf apparel partner of ALLCITY and DNVR. We love our Pins and Aces gear. Family-owned golf and apparel business based right here in Colorado. They make amazing polos, hats, golf bags, and even the beer sleeve. It's an innovative product. Well, you know what it is by now. You can store 7 beers in there. Or check out the liquor stick. Pretty intuitive. I don't really know how that one works, but I think I get the gist.
Like anybody who's drinking non-mechanized dispensed liquor on a golf course, you're living in the past.
You are living in the past.
Also, Pins and Aces, I love the feel and texture of their clothing. It's that athleisure wear kind of. You could wear it working out. You could wear it to the office. It looks great.
Chandler, our bar manager, wears a Pins and Aces shirt every day.
It's awesome.
Including the one that we just put out with Pins and Aces, which you can get on our website, DNVRlocker.com, which also, if I can just hijack this for a second, we're also having a Father's Day sale. You buy one, you get one half off. You can apply that to the Pins and Aces DNVR exclusive polo, and it's a beautiful thing.
Man, you're late shopping for Dad for Father's Day. Are you kidding me? This is the easiest thing. Just hop on there, great deals, and your dad's going to love it. Buy him a Nugget shirt. He'd be like, oh man, that's awesome. I love the Nuggets.
He's like,
you should make that
I
hat.
can finally relate to you.
Yeah. Now we can talk about more than baseball. Check out pinsandaces.com. Use code DNVR to receive 15% off your first order and get free shipping. That's pinsandaces.com. And finally, our friends at Shady Rays. We're headed to Vegas. You can come to Vegas with us.
Man.
If you're going to Vegas, you're going to need sunglasses. It gets bright, it gets hot, messes with your eyes. You can feel good, look good with our friends at Shady Rays, and you can do it all stress-free, because if you don't love your Shady Rays, you can exchange for a new pair or return them free within 30 days. If you lost them, you broke them, reach out. You might get another pair. Actually, you will get another pair. There's no risk when you shop. Their team always has your back. And we're not just telling you this because we like them very much. We're telling you this because we have a code exclusively for our listeners. Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Go to shadyrays.com, use code DNVR, 50% off 2 pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people.
That's so many people.
All right, Kale, open up that sheet. Let's joy scroll a little, shall we?
Oh,
The streets are talking. I love it.
is that
There
the
it
road
is.
to Vegas, by the way? Okay.
It does look like a road somewhere else, but it's all right. That's the streets are talking. What are they saying for us? Let's take a look at the timeline. Let's joy scroll together.
Oh,
Like,
man.
that's so tiny.
Shout
have
out
to do this the whole
Adam,
time,
you're
huh?
probably not going to get this one. This is for I Think You Should Leave fans.
Yeah, he just kept hanging out in the pool. It's like, yeah,
Yeah, this
it's
was
on like a reality TV
Jokic
show.
with Lisa Salters after the game. How did it feel to play so great? And he says, to be honest, I just wanted to use the zip line. Shout out Evan Fial.
I love it. It's a good one for sure. What else we got?
What are the streets saying?
This one's from our friend Miroslav. Not to take everyone, I know we prefer watching games to looking at spreadsheets, but
But as we learned, the glow up for analytics is accurate.
career playoff box plus minus. Look at the top 3 names: Michael Jordan, Nikola Jokic, LeBron James. Kind of checks out with
Kind
the
of
eye
checks
test,
out,
fellas.
man. Kind of checks out.
wild list.
Also, by the way, comfortably ahead of LeBron.
I know.
You know what? Like, comfortably ahead of LeBron. He could have a couple bad games, still be up there.
And you're like, I don't know about that list. Who are the other 2 guys? LeBron and Michael Jordan?
Yeah, you're like, all right.
Must be a flawed stat. What else do we got? Oh, yeah. Playoff leaders. Jokic, fellas, is on track to become the first player ever to lead the entire postseason in points, assists, and rebounds. It gets better, though. He's outside the top 5 in minutes
I
played.
love that part. I love that part.
That's ridiculous.
It's hilarious.
He really has broken basketball.
I know. And as EL points out, it's just because he's tall. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's just
He's just tall.
yeah. The altitude, the airport. It's so
You
far
scroll down a
away.
little bit. We referenced this earlier. The combined game 3 stats, Jokic, Murray go for 66, 31, 20. The entire starting 5 of the Miami Heat.
I can't wait till they
66,
next year
25, and
when
12.
like NBA on ESPN drops the like you have $15. I'm gonna take Jokic and Murray and just leave
Just
the change.
save the rest. Save the rest for some Shady Rays.
Yeah. The best part is Murray's gonna be like $1 still somehow.
Yeah.
Jokic will be a $4.
They're giving him the $2 now.
Nikola Jokic, you've just made NBA history. How does it feel? Jokic, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I can hear the exact line too from Shawshank.
Oh, man.
I
going. Get him
remember
fast.
just quickly. I remember throughout the season when during the height of the ugliness of the MVP conversation, people were like, "Oh yeah, you tell me Jokic doesn't care about MVP. Oh, you tell me." Now they're like, "Yeah, he
doesn't actually care.
He didn't care."
Dude, the KD one yesterday that he deleted though.
Oh, yeah,
I
that
loved
was a
it.
banger.
Here's what it was: such a banger. I'm telling you, I like Kevin Durant. I can't help myself, guys. I don't know why. I just do. I just like
It
him.
also showed how online
That's
KD
what I was gonna
really
say.
is. He knew things about him that the common fan
Yeah.
does not know.
The pool
The untrained
comment is
eye.
like a 1 or 2 off comment. You know, like he hasn't said that one a lot.
To the untrained ear, you would not hear those type of things, man.
That's too good.
We call that a callback in the business. A callback.
He's too good.
What else do we got? Oh, Micah Adams, Jamal Murray career scoring average, regular season 16.9. That is small. Playoffs
So tiny,
25.4. The increase is 8.5 points per game, better in the playoffs than the regular season. Fellas, that's the largest increase in NBA history.
Man.
Anyone curious who's number 2 on the list?
Christian Brown.
No, good guess. It's Jokic. It's Jokic.
Great guess.
So those are the Nuggets' 2 best
At the
players.
same exact time.
It's stupid, dude. That's the wildest thing about this whole everything that's going on. It's like we dreamed one day. We're like, what if the Nuggets can just get by? They can get over. The Nuggets are like, what if we gave you the most dominant playoff run ever reeled off? We're like, oh, all right, geez, chill out, fine.
I also just love the idea that, I mean, with Murray, it's obviously impressive, but I love the idea that Jokic should have been a 3-time MVP. His numbers are absurd, but they actually get better than anyone else's in the playoffs. He's insane because of his numbers in the regular season.
Jokic was anointed as an all-time great when he was snubbed for his obvious three-peat. That's a real
so
rite
true.
of passage for
That's
the
so
best
true.
to ever do it. Let's go back to the streets. Ryan Green of DNVR. The Heat made Jokic the scorer and the rebounder and the assister tonight.
So true. So true. Classic. Made him a little bit of everything.
Oh, man.
Kale's really slow at how he clicks.
He's a
Shout
slow
out
clicker.
Norm McDonald. May he rest in peace.
Can we hear your Norm McDonald on this
I
one?
can't do
Yeah,
Norm
you
McDonald.
can.
I can't.
Do you wanna
wanna
do
do
it?
it?
I can't see. Okay, it says
Zoom in, Kale.
Denver Nuggets duo
pretty
Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray became the first teammates to each post a triple-double in the NBA Finals game on Wednesday. One record they won't set, however, is most double homicides committed by a pro athlete in June, which is still held by O.J. Simpson.
That was great, dude.
I didn't think a shot up there, man.
That was great. 9.5 out of 10.
Very
Almost
good.
perfect, man.
Very
that was
good.
fantastic.
Rest in peace, Norm.
Also a 10 out of 10 tweet.
What a
That's-
great
yeah.
tweet.
This is the funniest.
This is my favorite. It's too bad Harrison couldn't
Have
be
you
with
seen
us.
this yet?
No.
Have you seen this?
Oh.
Don't take it off. Take it off. The Kia MVP ladder. Look at it. You just looked at
Oh,
it.
no,
You
I
cheater.
literally didn't see it.
All right,
Okay,
the
okay.
top 5 key MVP ladder.
Who
you
would
guess.
you have them
Yeah, you
ranked in the
guess.
top 5 for Finals MVP?
In order.
And remember, it could be both teams. You know.
Oh, this is for Finals MVP?
Finals MVP.
Number 1, Jokic.
Good
nailed
guess.
it.
Yep.
Number 2, Murray.
Yep, nailed it.
Number 3, Advanced Analytics.
We're on the steps.
Who is it?
We're on
Who
the
is it? Who is
steps.
it?
Christian Brown? I don't know. who.
Well, we have to.
Oh,
think
the other
because-
team. Oh, Jimmy Butler.
Okay.
Then is it another Nugget? I don't know. Bam.
Yeah,
Bam.
And then who is the next one? So you got the 4 main guys. Now, who would they determine as the 5th best player in the finals so far?
Who is the 5th best player in the finals so far? A Nugget player, obviously. It's not KCP. It can't be MPJ. Aaron Gordon?
You might think.
You might
great
think,
guess.
because
Pull it
he has
up,
been
Kale.
good.
Pull it
but
up.
you have obviously forgot about the 3-minute run Christian
It's
Brown went on
Christian
in
Brown.
Game 3. Somehow the
Christian Brown.
5 on the Kia MVP ladder.
That's amazing.
It's
Can I tell you?
uncomfortable. I'm not gonna lie, it's uncomfortable.
Can I tell you, we had an industry party here right before
Yeah.
the finals started, and I met the guy that does this.
Really?
I had a whole conversation with him about the
Oh, yeah.
finals.
Yeah.
Like he was talking to me about how like he's a total Jokic truther.
Yeah, he got Jokic right.
And
He
he
had him
loves
number
Christian
one.
Brown.
Keep going. I would love to hear about this guy. Keep going. Go.
He's a
What was he
Jokic.
wearing?
I don't understand. Do you?
Just what is he wearing?
I don't know.
Tell me about him. Tell me about him. Come on, hurry up. What is he?
I don't understand where we're going right
I
now.
just want to know about the guy that made it. I don't understand what's so hard about explaining the guy you met.
Well, I don't remember what he was
Dev's
wearing.
trying to get at something.
I know.
Something.
What would you
something.
say he looks
Explain
like?
it. I
What would you
want you
say
to
he looks
explain
like?
him.
A gentleman.
Okay.
And a scholar. Anyway, Christian Brown, number 5 on the NBA.com Finals MVP ranking. I'm gonna say, don't place that bet. We got one more.
Oh, I love this one.
Oh, I haven't seen this one yet, and I can't read that, Kale.
You got to zoom in, yeah.
10 centers in NBA history have taken 100+ threes in the playoffs. Nikola Jokic has the highest percentage at 41.2. Joel Embiid has the lowest at 28%.
That's incredible.
That actually
Yoke
is
the
incredible.
highest to be the lowest. I love it.
Is
that it?
Is this really a picture of Embiid?
All right, let's get to the super chats. Down under.
Josh Barnett, currently stuck in Sydney traffic, but wishing I was in Denver drunk with Denver Man. Meeting Nuggets fans here is rare, but you become instant mates.
Yeah.
Dude, it's I will say though, this is the thing that you don't get from other sports networks. D-Line will literally
Yeah.
entertain you 24/7 for a whole week if you
Yeah.
come out here.
No. And at
Personally.
a certain point, it's on you to entertain me.
That's right. Then it flips.
Yeah, you return the favor.
I'll let you get this one, man. This is your guy.
My
This is
guy,
your
Big Waz, man. Let me see what he says here. 2 wins from Destiny.
Let's
I told Adam in October, checking in from the Big Apple.
Let's
Our
go.
guy, Big Market Waz. And he's not long. He texted me the other day. He even sent me the link to the show I did with him on his network, on Ringer NBA Pod, where it was before the season where he picks the Nuggets. I'm telling you, we all get a lot of credit for being right. Waz was right there. All of the
I know.
takes.
I mean,
all of the takes were just like, they were shocking at the time, but it's like you listen to them and you're like, oh yeah, that's true. Oh, accurate. That one also accurate.
Dude, I literally am like, I'm looking back over the tape, over the receipts, over the messages. I don't know what we've ever been wrong about. The only thing
I'll tell you what it is.
we're wrong about was Bones Highland, and I'll take that one. I just loved him so much.
You know what, though? We were wrong. We all underestimated it, man.
I know, man.
We really did.
We
That's
sold
the
him
only
short.
thing is we sold it short.
You just got to be a little bit cautious. I think that's what the thing is. But also with Big Wall, I love the fact that people that were right early on with us, they continue to take their victory laps.
As you
they already
should.
took their one. They're like, nah, we're going to keep on running. This is a marathon now. I love that.
We did one with the U.S. flag. Give me the Serbian
Yeah,
flag.
yeah, let them to just continue these victory laps every chance they can, because like they don't cover them every single day. So they seen something that, you know, we've been talking about this entire time. And if you've been right about something, make sure everybody hears it.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Hit that outro music for us, Kale. What a fun little hangover Thursday. But we are back tomorrow. Guess what? The Nuggets play tomorrow. Remember we
What a
had to
treat.
wait forever for
What
them
a
to
treat.
play?
That was
Bro,
the
it has
longest.
been. I feel like this was intentional. It was like this was psychological warfare. Every time the Nuggets have something that you don't feel confident about, you're made to sit in it for an extra 2 days.
Oh, I see. Every loss comes.
Every loss, they're like, "Oh, I'll probably take 6-7 days off," and when they win, it's like, "Oh, it's this afternoon."
I know. I could bask in this for a week.
I know, dude. I never want to stop feeling this, but we have to get right back
That's
into
right.
the.
We get to do it again tomorrow.
Let's
baby.
go.
Can't wait for it. Everybody, thanks for tuning in with us. Don't forget to hit the like button on the way out.
Let's go.